Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to the Best Women's Boxing Show, period. I am Cynthia Conte.
And I am Jeandra LeBeauf, right here next to my twin Cynthia
I know,
Conte,
right?
Because we like black and white.
We do not talk to each other and say, what are you going to wear next week? Because
yes, we do. No, we don't.
No, we don't. We really don't. We just have really good minds. That's how it is. But
we're going to touch foreheads from
yeah,
now
we
on
are.
and match our outfits like that.
But today we got a special one for you because I didn't even know. Honestly, I did not know this was going to actually happen. I was praying to the boxing gods, please let it happen, let it happen. And here we are. Our prayers. We got not one, but two people, a married couple, boxing's hottest couple. Actually, it's boxing's best power couple. In the hot seat with us, Miss Rachel Donaire, the knockout queen, a.k.a. what your husband, the Filipino Flash, 4-division world champion, Nonito Donaire says, the boss lady. Am I right?
Thank you guys so much for having me on the show.
No, thank you. I mean, if you did not respond on, I think it was my Instagram, saying, I need more than 30 seconds to talk your shit, I was like, oh, girl, we need to give her an hour to talk her shit because she got a lot of shit to talk about.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know if a lot of people, if people do not know boxing, or maybe you're just learning about boxing, Rachel has been in the business. She started out as basically just a wife, but also the manager to Nonito Donaire. And now we're going to get into the role that you have now taken on in a little bit, his head trainer.
Boss women stand
Boss,
up.
I mean, just
it.
even the word saying head trainer to a world champion, a 4-division world champion, and also to your own husband.
Future Hall of Famer.
Future first ballot Hall of Famer.
Hello.
Hello. See? Okay, Rachel, we got so much to talk about. But before anything, I know a lot of people are thinking, well, what does she know? She doesn't know anything. But as I started researching you, girl, you a 4th degree black belt.
Yes. I grew up kind of like a tomboy, right?
Mm-hmm.
My dad wanted 2 boys. He got 2 girls.
Oh.
So he put us, of course, in martial arts, which he had since he was 16. And then I fell in love with fighting. I won state championships starting at the age of 12 and then made national teams and got to travel. So I was really involved in the fight game and watching boxing. And we actually had a former boxer that was training with us. His name was Eddie Croft.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was kind of a blend of mixed styles and learned a lot from him and got to go to fights with him and things like that as I was growing up.
Did you ever think about getting into boxing yourself and just adding that to your arsenal? Well, I mean, you were a kid.
Or even MMA.
You're MMA.
I thought about getting into MMA. I did think about going into boxing for a bit. My best friend back then, Anna Hulton, she went into boxing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but then I saw her get her face punched and I was like, not happening.
Oh, no.
That's amazing. So many people have such early roots in fighting. When do you remember when the switch was where this was something you felt like you wanted to really invest your life in? Because lots of kids take martial arts and different types of things. When did you know this is it for me?
It was literally, I think, the first week. I had a trial class and I was 8 and didn't have a uniform yet, so I still had street clothes coming into the gym. And they asked me to kick. The instructor told me to kick, and I kicked. And he was like, "Oh, you kick like a girl."
In the world.
Whatever.
And I walked up. So he went to go teach another student. I walked up behind him and kicked him in the back of the leg. So he grabs me, and I'm looking at him like, "What are you gonna do?" Like I knew anything then. And he's like, "Okay, so you think you're bad?" He's like, "I'll put you in on Friday." So Friday's class was an all black belt, 1-hour full sparring class.
Wow.
And
Wait, how old were you again at this?
8.
8. Jesus.
And again, it was only black belts. And at that time, so I went in and I fought my heart out for an hour because what they did is they did a round robin spar.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And they kind of were snickering, being like, "So I guess this means you're not coming back. Did you learn your lesson?" I was like, "Yeah, when's the next class?"
I know that's right.
And then since then, that was it. I was the only white belt to go to that class every Friday.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with belts, so is a white belt.
Brand new.
Oh, brand new.
Brand new.
Oh, damn. I mean, at 8 years old, Did you think you did good? Did they tell you did good? Did you know you did good at that age?
No, they didn't tell me anything. They weren't trying to give me any more like juice to keep coming, and it was just such an adrenaline rush. And it was fun. And then I just kept, going to that class every Friday and trying to improve my skills against full grown men. And eventually it started to be like pretty much like a brotherhood where they were helping me with my technique and telling me what I did wrong and what I need to look out for, what I need to correct. So I had a lot of mentors in that class because they saw that I was really passionate about fighting.
And been kicking ass ever since.
Yeah.
and been kicking ever since.
My God. And then I saw that you were also in the Air Force.
Yes, for 5 years. When I was 18, that was the 2000 Olympics. And I actually had knocked out the Grandmaster's daughter in the eliminations.
Wow.
Oh.
But there was some politics involved, and they counted her to 8, and they didn't continue the count. And they made it a medical timeout, and then she ran the rest of the fight. So, it was what it was. And that competition was also near the U.S. Air Force Academy. So I got recruited by the Air Force to fight for the U.S. Air Force team when I was in the military. And so I was on the U.S. Air Force team and the world military team for the U.S. During my service. And I got to go to amazing places, met amazing people. And it was fun because as a Taekwondo fighter, there is no professional level. So it's not like Nonito where he goes from amateurs, professional, then you start getting paychecks.
Right.
With Taekwondo, there is none. So the best option was to go with the U.S. Air Force, be on the team, and then all my stuff gets paid for.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God. That's a dream come true at that time, just you get to travel the world, you get to do what you love, and you don't have to pay for anything.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm it's still active duty status, so I'm still getting my salary.
Wow.
So it was pretty much like the best option considering we didn't have a professional program.
Why did you choose to go into the Air Force?
Honestly, and every single branch is going to say like, oh, you guys are pussies, but really like the intellect, you see all those memes about like the grunt work of like the Marines and Army and like the Air Force is like sitting behind a desk. But I did want to pilot. Unfortunately, when I got in, of course, that's when they tell me like, oh yeah, you don't meet the height requirement for the jet.
Just gonna ask.
Yeah, and I was like, really? That you didn't tell me that when I signed up.
So wait, did you work behind on the computer or like in the?
I was an
base?
admin. I was working under general. So that's why I'm really, really keyed into, first of all, boot camp makes you pay attention to detail, but also because of the level of professionalism and attention to detail in the emails and processing system. And if I mess up, the general is going to be on my butt about it. I was just so keen on to paying attention to everything, every single word, every spacing, making sure and double, triple checking everything.
So with that type of a background, that attraction, it's no mistake why you and your husband were attracted. When you first connected, how did you guys even connect? How did you guys even meet?
Well, I love the fact that I'm the first one
Nonito
because he doesn't get to say who hit on who first. So now since I have the mic first, I'm going to say he hit on me first because that is the truth. So just know he's going to counter me on this later. But I had made national team again, and I usually throw a party because I can't see my friends until after the fight. So I threw a party, and this start aging me. Danny Kane was performing.
I remember that.
Showstopper.
See, but now I'm aging myself, right? By saying who was performing then. So it was, I believe the capacity was gone by like 10:30, 11. Nonito knew Anna.
Okay.
And I knew Anna. So Anna was supposed to come, but she didn't end up coming. And so she told him and his friends to go to my party. So he's in line. His friend texts me and he's like, we can't get in. So I'm talking to the bouncer. I'm like, hey, there's a couple more people in my party. I need them in. But while I'm doing this, he walks in, someone from Mario Serrano from Premiere
Yeah.
Wow.
saw him.
I'm gonna ask him about
Full
this.
circle.
Yeah, saw him in the crowd in the line, and he was like, "Champ, you don't wait in line. Walk with me." So I'm standing there, and he walks past me with Mario. And so my other friend that was there was like, "Oh, did you get to meet him?" I was like, "No, he just completely snubbed me. This is my party."
Boo, Nonito. That's one X for you.
Exactly.
No, the second X was even worse because he finally so my friend was pushing me just say hi to him. I'm like, fine. So he's talking to Mario. Finally, he turns around and he's like, "Hi, my name's Nonito." I'm like, "Rachel." And he is like, "Nice to meet you." And then turns his back on me again. And I'm like,
At your own party?
I'm like, this guy.
You should have kicked him in the back too, like
right?
your teacher.
Right?
Yeah. So, and then I walked away, and I guess he turned around, and I wasn't there, and he was like, "What a bitch."
That's already 3 X's. My God, that's like a strikeout.
So we both
This is all in one night?
This is all in one night. It was all in one night. So basically, we already kind of prejudged each other as far as, so it wasn't love. I mean, yeah, it wasn't a love at first sight kind of thing. I thought he was hot, but I thought he was stuck up and into himself. And I was like, I don't have time for this. There's a bunch of hot guys in the Bay.
I know that's right.
So why am I going to put up with someone whose head's so damn big? And I was like, bye, boy. And then now we're here.
Wait, so then...
I blame Mario Serrano.
I know.
Let's send us a press release about that.
I'm going to ask him about this. But since with that, then how did it come back around? Who actually then hit on who to now come to this union?
I mean, throughout the night, I went into a different room because they had a different room at Taste Ultra Lounge. And then I saw him from across the room, coming into the room that I was in, and I was on stage with the DJ. So then I went to go find him, and he was dancing in a circle with a group of guys. So I was like, "Did you want to dance?" I was like, "Do you want to dance?" And then we started dancing from there. But ever since then, it was always a competition. I played the piano, he started singing Unchained Melody. I did, it was look at my fight video, look at your fight video. Everything was a competition from day one. It still is. We'll
I was going to say, yeah.
It still is. And that's the fun part of it. We had a lot of fun because it wasn't just this cute romance thing. You know, it was this playful, young competition between us two because both of us didn't want to give in to the other one.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, that's so cute.
I love that. See, you guys got to write your memoirs one day. I like that.
Oh my God, both of them are going to be 2 different books.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be
Her version.
where you could flip it and it's opposite on opposite side.
To read Nonito's version, flip it upside down.
That's awesome. And then here you are, this powerhouse couple, manager, trainer, and just growing into these impressive roles in your husband's career. As spending all those years with him, when did you know you wanted to take the next step and help steer the ship and just lead him into the next section of his career?
Well, I think I got tossed into that role because when we got married in 2008, he would show to me endorsement contracts and his fight contracts, and I would notice they would come in and he'd want to sign it immediately.
Oh, you're one of those. Doesn't read the fine print.
No,
doesn't
just
read anything.
So I started, tearing down his sponsorships and be like, there's no end date on this. This is indefinite, So I started red marking stuff. And then I would have conversations with his manager then, who was Cameron Duncan. Mm-hmm. So over the course of time, a couple years, Cameron had noticed that I was really taking an active role that I wasn't asked to do, but help him with a contract as far as what we were concerned with or if we needed something else negotiated. And then, simple things like his physicals, his medicals and stuff like that, making sure that's in the calendar and that Nonito doesn't double, triple book himself, which is the thing he used to always do. Mm-hmm. So after that time, that's when Cameron's like, listen, he had a huge stable, right? He had Jesse, he had Tim Bradley. So there was a lot of them that he had to manage. And he's like, I'm going to give you half of the management so you can co-manage with me.
Okay.
Because I told him, I was like, I really don't know a lot. And he goes, I'll help you. And so it was to take, weight off of his plate.
Yeah, that's
So
a lot.
yeah, so I was like, okay. So I started doing co-management with him. And then by 2015, 2016, his contract was ending. And I was like, so are we going to renew this? And he's like, you don't need me anymore. And I was like, okay. And he's like,
beautiful.
That is nice.
but I'm always a phone call away if you need me. And I'm still in contact with him. We text, we call. And if there's something of a concern that I wanted his opinion on, he answers the phone. So
I want to talk to Cameron Duncan because I'm glad that you brought up Tim Bradley because it made me think of his wife, who also took an active role in the later parts of his career. Do you two commiserate over that? Was Cameron responsible for pushing women forward? Because obviously he had a great deal of faith and and set you free in an industry where it's so much about money, money, money. He could have easily been like, yeah, let's renew, let's go, and keep going. But he said, hey, fly free, bird. You have it.
yeah, that's an interesting point because I never really looked at it this way. But now that you're talking about it, like it really does make sense because the same time that I was getting the co-management, I believe Monica was as well. It was never a conversation like at a tabletop, like, okay, so you ladies, I'm going to give you, the co-management and let you take over. But the actions, I believe, speak louder than any words did.
Absolutely.
And he, like you said, like he was just like, here it is. You guys protect them so well. And he knew that what we were doing was in the best interest of our husbands.
I was just going to say, there's no one better to protect them better than the wives.
Yes, exactly.
A true ally. I love a true ally because it could have easily gone a different way. Salute to Cameron Duncan.
Yeah. I mean, do you like the manager? Before anything else, did you like being the manager?
I got a lot of heat for it.
Of course.
But it was fun. For me, it was like a puzzle, like looking at contracts, because one of the things I did want to do in the military, or even before the military when I was in high school, was be a lawyer.
So, that's perfect, girl.
Yeah, so I'm like, the contract's like a big puzzle piece, especially all the legal terms and things like that and the references to different sections and things. I love putting it together, making notes and like referring back to and crossing things out. And it's negotiation's fun. I love negotiations, so.
In the contracts, a lot of people don't know what goes on. So let's just say you get a contract for Nonito for whatever fight. What's the turnaround time usually that they get it back, and how many times has it been edited?
I would say, depending on which day of the week it is, usually about 48 hours is the max that I do it. Because at that point, especially if it's just a fight contract, it's pretty basic. So if there's anything that would concern me, for example, a rematch, when's the rematch, who's the A side on the rematch, what the minimum is, all that stuff, like those are usually the the whole meat of the contract. Promotional contracts, I'll take a lot more time because that's a marriage, pretty much. Some of these contracts are 7 years and some of them look like they're 3 years, but it's like plus one.
It's what's the craziest thing that you've ever seen in a contract?
You read my mind.
I was like, what's the most audacious thing that you've ever read? You're like, oh, hell no.
Okay, so the craziest thing I've seen in a management contract is waiving all rights to everything, pretty much. That's not how it's said, but what it says is that the manager has exclusive rights to negotiate and sign on the behalf of the fighter name, likeness, and image.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So he could negotiate a contract and it could, let's just say it's $5. And the fighter doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But he has to do the job because he gave authority, basically power of attorney, to sign to the manager. Oh. In addition, in that section is being able to take financial instruments on behalf of the fighter.
Oh.
So the $5 goes to the manager.
See, that's some like fancy words that, of course, fighters are not going to understand. They'd be like, oh, okay, fine. They don't know.
Yes.
So they literally do sign their lives away. And that's why a lot of people say that maybe managers are not good to have, because I guess whatever the percentage is, you just really need the fighter and the trainer. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes they say the trainer can be the manager. We've already seen that.
That doesn't work out.
There's a couple of fighters that have that issue, and those fights aren't panning out. I've seen that contract within that same contract, in addition to put the trainer position within the management agreement.
Oh, wow.
So you're locked in.
You know, on Twitter, everyone thinks they're an expert on Twitter, contracts and all these types of things.
Everyone's a lawyer all of a sudden.
Everyone, the armchair lawyers, and a lot of people like to talk about the Muhammad Ali Reform Act. So what are 3 things or a couple things about that act that are critical for people to know that you think that people don't consider, or just your own experience with looking at that act as it pertains to your husband's career?
I mean, there's so many different aspects. I would have to actually pull it up to like look at every single one. But I think, honestly, if there's one thing that I think needs to be cleaned up is the separation between the promoter and the manager, and who's paying, and the licensing of all.
Okay.
I've gone to too many, I've seen and verified too many instances where a promoter doesn't have a license, or a manager doesn't have a license to be operating in the state that they're operating in. So it begs to question, where is that money going? How are you getting paid, and by who? And I think those kind of things need to be overseen by the highest levels. Just like if it was a real estate agent, you can't sell a property without a license.
Right.
So why are we playing this game with boxing?
Right.
It's crazy that a lot of men, or I'm not going to say men, but a lot of people in boxing that you've dealt with will just say that. I remember you in an article that they call you a tart and a bitch and like everything else, because they don't realize, just because they think you don't know anything, you don't understand, man. Women know a lot more. They know that. What is it? You're like the CIA, like I always say. You are fine-tuning and looking at everything, investigating everything.
And if we don't know, we'll find it online.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, there was this one, like right now I was actually dealing with that. I was dealing with something a couple weeks ago, and then it came back up full-fledged last night. I had found out that that there were some media outlets in the Philippines that had stated that John Riel Casimiro, who's the WBO bantamweight champion, that his visa for the U.S. was revoked.
I wanted to ask you about that because I read it. I'm like, I saw his little video saying, "I'm stuck. I can't go and travel." I'm thinking, what happened? I'm like,
so there's this document that's circulating around that supposedly TGB had revoked John Riel's visa back in February 11th, 2022.
oh, okay.
So I went. It's so easy. What's crazy to me is nobody does this, and it's the easiest thing. I went to the USCIS website. I found their phone number, and then I called.
Wow, you actually
really
picked up the phone and called.
Yeah.
Okay, due diligence.
Right? Not even an email.
No, because and I mean, like I said, like I called. I actually recorded it earlier this morning just to prove a point. And I recorded and I said, where on the website can I actually bring up this case file where it shows, so I'm not just saying it myself? And he's like, go to uscis.com, put in your case filing number, and it'll show you the status of the visa. I was like, approved or revoked? And he was like, yes. And I was like, thank you. So, I mean, like, these things are not hard to find.
So his thing was not revoked?
So I think we're talking about two different things. The TGB one was the one that this group in the Philippines decided to Photoshop and disseminate.
Wow.
That TGB revoked his visa.
Oh.
But that's not true. That's the one from the USCIS.
Okay.
The UK visa, he's already on his way.
Yeah, that was the video I saw that.
His brother didn't get approved.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh,
his brother didn't get approved.
Okay. Now, well, you've already segued into that because
For sure.
besides, I'm like, there's so much.
Okay, we're gonna just take off Nonito.
Don't even know where to go. Okay, you're a trailblazer. You're shattering glass ceilings. Shit, you're like bulldozing them all down. And what I like about it is that you said in an interview that you don't, for women to be in our sport, in boxing, and just in sport in general, this shouldn't be like something like, oh my God, it's just, wow, I can't believe a woman's doing this. It should be normal. And for you to take on the career, and a lot, since now social media is very prevalent in our sport, I know that you and Nonito are very, very vocal, especially you. and I love that. I mean, love you or hate you. It's, you do it for, you protect your husband, you protect your family, because not only are you just a trainer, you're a mother too. You have 2 sons, and like you said, we always talk about it. Your job never ends.
It never ends.
It never ends. So I want to kind of pivot. we're gonna get ready now to the sauce. We've seen some things in social media with Sean Gibbons, and
He's my best friend.
We've noticed you were particularly close.
and and it's really hard to see because I mean I'm both of your friends, and just to see the stuff that I've seen or we've all witnessed, it's pretty bad. But it all kind of started with Casimiro. Am I right?
Yes.
Now, just who is he signed with you guys, or is he signed with Sean Gibbons? I thought he was with Manny Pacquiao Promotions.
As far as we know, no. And when we had looked at all the articles in the news before that, he was actually signed to SGG, Sammy Giuliani's promotion.
Okay.
In the Philippines, that's his signed promoter. And his manager was Morris East, and that expired. Both expired in February 2022.
Signed to Probellum? I'm not sure.
No, that Probellum won the purse bid. And
that's it. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what pissed off Sean Gibbons at me.
Did he think that it was your guys' doing that he left, or... I don't even know how this all happened.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I thought maybe you guys took him, because I saw that live that you guys spoke because of the whole thing with Memo and the suck my dick, whatever, that kind of thing. And I really watched it because a lot of it was in Tagalog too. So I'm like, thank God I remember a lot of my Tagalog. So I'm like, ooh, this is the juice. And so I thought, okay, maybe he was apologizing, and then maybe you guys helped him out to get for his next fight. That's what I assumed. I didn't know.
So what happened with after the Rigondeaux fight, we worked out a fight with John Riel for December 11th.
Okay.
And according to TGB, they had sent Sean the contract. So we're twiddling our fingers because we already signed it. We're like, how long is this guy going to take? It doesn't take 2 seconds. And, excuse after excuse came. They're like, well, he's in quarantine because he just went back to the Philippines. And finally, it came to a point where Casimiro was promoting the Inoue fight December 11th instead of ours. So a vlogger had put us face-to-face on StreamYard. And Nonito was like, why haven't you signed it? And he's like, I didn't get the contract. Send it to me. And Nonito was like, I can't send you the contract. This is not. So it was weird to me that he didn't know how this works. He's been in the game for so long. How do you not know that you can't get the contract from
Or
us?
unless maybe he just...
Or even since his other deal expired in February, who was advocating on his behalf?
Yeah.
And, who was advocating for him?
Well, that's the thing, is that Sean said that he agreed to the fight, but he hadn't signed the contract. Casimiro saying he never got the contract. We're like, what do you mean you never got the contract? And he said on that, I don't always see my fight contracts. And that's where the can of worms opened.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, because I remember Sean promoting the fight with you, with Nonito and him, and then all of a sudden, I was like, wait a minute, they're supposed to fight. I'm so confused. And then the next time he's signed, Probellum won the fight bid. I'm like, what just happened here?
But even with that, with Probellum winning the purse bid, still, what business is of yours, and why not Richard Schaefer or whoever?
Yeah, whoever
is the decision maker of that.
I think it's just honestly, he had someone to blame, and because MP Promotions didn't even bid.
Yeah, so that's what I was very shocked.
Yeah, so how are you not going to bid on the behalf of your fighter? And so Probellum easily won it without any contention. And because he's not ignorant enough to go after Richard or go after Probellum, because he will ice himself out of any business relation they have, he went after me. And it's not like I stroked the check. I didn't bid. I have no license to do so. But I was the easiest scapegoat. I was the one that he would attack because who's going to come running for my rescue? No one's going to save me. I'm the only one that's going to fight for myself. And he knew that.
I think also because it was so heated with everything that was going on in social media that you guys were like literally fighting over social media on videos.
I didn't like seeing
and
you get disrespected.
Yeah,
like
that was
gross.
a hard one. I'm like,
gross.
Any man calls anyone a bitch, especially in front of their husband. Oh my God, I'd knock them out myself. Like, I don't care if you're my friend, my family. Like, that's just like, it's a low blow.
Well, I think it just shows a lot, because for me, when I argue with someone, it's going to be fact for fact, and it's going to be a debate, right? And I'm going to bring facts. I'm not going to bring your personal life into it. I'm not going to give personal insults as well, because that has nothing to do with the fact at hand. But I feel like whenever someone goes to the personal side, it means I'm winning. I'm apparently getting to you because you can't answer this question directly. And so I think that's what it's been. But the funny part is, in the middle of this, when we were supposed to fight Casimiro the first time, we had actually had to sit down and talk with California State Commission regarding his behavior. And we had, virtually shook hands and said, we're done. We're not going to, discuss each other anymore. And then when the Probellum thing came, he just came back again. I was like, all right, well, I guess the gloves are back off or on, whichever way you want.
Is there what in your mind, what could bring the two sides to a place where it's just, amicable? We can just shake hands and go our way. We don't have to have any relationship of any sort. It can just be amicable. Because even today, I've been seeing some stuff on Twitter. Yeah. Even now, what can make this situation amicable between both sides?
I think he just needs to let it go. Like, this whole Casimiro thing has been since August. We're in April, and his entire team is still every single day going out on YouTube about Casimiro. And they have tasked me, because of the fact that I know so much and about, U.S. government, to find out the real truth, because they're freaking out that he's, of course he was going to get deported, or he was going to not be able to come back to the U.S. and they didn't know how to do that. So until he finally got, with Aegis Klimas, he really didn't have a direction.
That's right. He's with Aegis.
Yeah. So now he's with Aegis. So now he has more of a stable foundation. They don't need me as much. But at the same time, like I said, if there is no contract and Jean-Riel Casimiro is already signed with Aegis Klimas and there is no promotional because that expired as well, let it go. Yeah. And I think that's the problem, is that they're so hell-bent on taking him down at this point by all means possible, that it's just, it's silly. It's just silly.
I remember reading or watching the live when you guys were talking to Casimiro, and I think your dad got involved. Everyone was like screaming, and then what I loved about Nonito, when he is like, I'm a Filipino, I will always help my fellow kababayan. Like, I don't care if you are my enemy, I will always try to help you, especially in boxing. And it was just kind of like, John, just shut the fuck up. Like, just listen and just understand what is going on. And I saw the video. I was just like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. But I'm glad that hopefully you guys have kind of moved on a little bit from that. Not necessarily, but it's good to see that, no matter what, as much fighting, you're always you and your husband will always go and help a fellow Filipino fighter.
Well, I think it's more than just, I know this situation is with a fellow Filipino fighter. Of course, that's someplace in our heart.
Yeah.
But just seeing the amount of these contracts that I have been seeing that are going back and forth, and fighters that are passing me their contracts to look it over, it's more than that. It's all boxers. It's all races. It's all walks of life. And it's unfortunate that, that they would sign it if they didn't know any better. So that's why I went on Punch Drunks and I did a 4-hour thing of going line by line, like, guys.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I think it's really, I believe that we were given, this obstacle to overcome, to not just help Jean-Riel Casimiro, but to help every boxer that doesn't know what they're signing could be a death sentence to their career if they're not paying attention.
Do you find that you have, when you help other fighters, of course, no naming names or anything like that, do their team reach out to you like, hey, you overstepping your bounds? Because a lot of people want to keep their fighters ignorant so they can take advantage of them.
No.
So, no opposition. Mm-mm. So, that's great.
Have you had any fighters ask for you to manage them?
Yes.
Anybody you'd like to tell us?
Yeah. No, I actually said no. I have.
You're like, you got too many jobs.
I have. Yeah, that's literally what it is. I've also had other fighters ask for me for strength and conditioning, and I'm like, no. I was like, I really don't have, I can't.
You got a full plate.
Yeah, I now, like, as of this moment, I have, Nonito that's already in camp, and then I have Jesse that's fighting in 3 weeks.
Are you strength and conditioning him? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember hearing that you were doing it with Nonito, and then before, besides being the manager, and then now into the trainer position.
And
Yeah.
you have small children.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this week has been crazy because they've actually been at the gym. So you could just imagine me like telling them to sit down, giving Nonito water, telling them to sit down again, giving him water. Oh, the iPad turned off. I was like, please go back to school. Please go back.
Wait, you home study them, correct?
No, I did for I mean, everyone did for
Yeah.
COVID. We've talked about
man.
homeschooling them
How
because
much did you drink?
I think everyone drank and gained weight during COVID
Heck
anyway.
yeah.
I don't think she stopped.
It's all right. It's a mother's job is never done.
It's never. That's incredible. That is incredible. Just the management of a fighter alone is a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus all these other aspects, plus parenting, plus. Well, what do you do for you?
I do make time so usually on without Easter break, I bring the kids to school really early in the morning. In the car, I have a conference call with my business associates at 7:30. I hit the gym at 8:15 to make sure I get it out of the way for me. That gives me a hyper focus into my business because of the fact that I already gave myself that 1 hour. And then after that, I'm usually working with my business. Throughout the day, all the way into the night sometimes. But I have, basically told him, like, usually Thursdays is our date. And you're going to think this is funny, but where we go to date is Whole Foods.
Aw,
Oh, that's cute.
That's adorable.
Have you guys gone to the Whole Foods restaurant?
I've been to one in LA.
I've been to the one in Austin, the original Whole Foods. That thing is massive. You can go do a wine date there.
Yep.
Like it's
Yeah.
so banana. It's so cool though.
So this one, the one on 215 and Green Valley Ranch,
I haven't been in that
it's not
one.
so big.
Okay.
It's called, it's not so big, but they have a, full menu and they have a full bar. So we go over there and like, we know the girl there because she knows how I order. She's like, yes, I know. No sauce, everything clean.
Wait, are you like a vegan or something or?
No, it's funny because me and Nonito argue about this all the time. I eat food for fuel. I'm not that person that wants like a lot of flavoring in my food. So
What?
if you overdose it,
That's true.
with sauce, I'm like, I don't even taste the chicken anymore. What was I eating? So I like things a lot more cleaner.
Okay.
And I like my salad dressing on the side. I don't like it when they mix it and then it looks
It
like
wilts,
a soup.
yeah.
So I'm kind of particular when it comes to that. But I mean, we eat pretty healthy, and the boys have gotten used to, eating every single type of thing. I think I was proud of Jarrell when we went to Cabo. He was eating tuna, raw tuna.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, I never thought that he would. Kids are weird with
the texture.
the
and
texture,
taste, yeah.
exactly. But he went in, and I was like, all right, cool. So at least I believe that we gave them so much variety when they were younger that they just take with it and run with it. So I'm happy of how our household food choices are.
I saw that you guys don't even have rice.
We do not have rice. We have cauliflower rice.
I mean, you're a Filipino
I
family.
was
That's
just gonna
almost
say.
sacrilegious.
So I
How do you
actually
eat? You eat adobo and like
I bring my
nilaga.
cauliflower rice with me to
Oh,
restaurants.
you're one of those?
Yeah, with a Tupperware.
Nonito, I'm
And
so sorry.
I bring it, I sneak it on the table, and I'm like,
At this
cauliflower.
point, just tell a Whole Foods lady, look, hook my rice up. You already know.
What's
what
that
it
one
is.
thing that Beyonce brings?
Hot sauce in her bag.
Does Nonito even eat rice? No.
No.
Does he bring his cauliflower too? Or you split? You guys share it?
When he's in camp and he wants it, then we'll split it. But I mean, off training, we'll go maybe once in 1 or 2 weeks to eat Filipino food, and we're not gonna destroy that tasting that he has for that. And so he'll indulge, but it's his choice to do so. He's intolerable to rice, so he knows the after effects of it.
Got it.
So we've done the food sensitivity test, so we know every single thing.
okay.
If we eat it and we want to eat it because we want to eat it. We know the consequence. It's going to
It's
bloat
called getting
us.
fat. That's what it is.
It's delicious.
It is good.
Do you have like a procedural manual? You're so organized in terms of your business, the food, the diet, the rice is in the bag. Do you have like a book at the house where it's like, we're on chapter 3. There is no rice in this house. This is the way we're going to eat this week for camp. Do you plan that way for the meals of the household? How do you plan all of these things?
Usually I do have pretty much a schedule of what things have to happen when. And so like even with the boys, they have a system on the S'mores app that basically tells them you have to do like for right now, they have to do 30 minutes of math, 15 minutes of math facts, 30 minutes of reading, a journal. They have to do science, language, typing, coding, and you also have to run or box or do something. So they know like there's things expected of them.
Oh, that's
I
good.
feel like whiteboards are all over our house, everywhere. And so all of those things that have to be done throughout the week are put into that, as well as backed up into my Google Calendar. And then what we do is after the fight, we have an after action report, and anything that I failed to do or that the team feels that we failed to do as a team gets discussed on that round table, and we disseminate it to every single person so that mistake is corrected the next time around.
Wow. It's very military style.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. Do they have chores?
I'm failing as a parent. My
baby's
kid's in college.
My baby's turning 1 tomorrow, so I'm gonna have
Yes, the boys
schedule.
I mean, you know, besides their homework and stuff like that, their only chores on the weekdays, of course, is they have to clean their tables, clean all the cups around the house that they go, you know, they drink water and they bring it somewhere else. So they switch back and forth. One cleans the table one day, the other one vacuums every single day. And then they switch the next day and switch. And then they get points for that every single time that they do it. I think Nonito had them cleaning the bathroom today.
Wow,
doing
that's
my makeup.
impressive.
Yeah.
Do they box or any kind of Muay Thai or MMA or anything?
Right now they train with him or train at the gym, but we're not really pushing them to do that. We're giving them the options.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up really well-rounded. Like my parents had me in, I don't know, 3 choirs, piano, voice lessons, volleyball, basketball.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You know
Yep.
what I mean? They pack your schedule. So I'm giving him the opportunity to try different things. He loves piano. They love boxing, but I think it's a funny dynamic because, you know, Papa is really strict in boxing. There's no playing. So I almost like to allow the other boxers in the gym to work with the kids.
Okay.
So then, you know, it's a little bit less stressful because I think that they feel like the pressure of Papa helping them, and if they don't feel like they're doing it right, they get frustrated.
Oh, I see.
You know.
Do they know how what do I say? No, I don't want to say the word popular, but do they know about Nonito, like the caliber of a boxer that he is? That he's this
In
they
the
see
industry
belts.
as a whole.
Yeah.
No.
They just see his Papa
This
as a
is their
boxer.
dad.
He
Yeah.
just knocks people out.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone, you know, like we'll go to the mall and people take pictures with Nonito. And since very young, Jarrell will be like, "Who's that, Papa?" He goes, "Well, I don't know. He's just a fan." He goes, "Well, why did you take pictures with him?" He's like, "He was taking pictures with me." He goes, "But why?" And it was just like the fact that they grew up in this, it just seems normal. So they don't know any different.
One of the best fights, I mean, it was a fight of the year with Inoue in Japan. And I remember, I mean, I was just showing them this. Look at this. Because I remember, I've never taken it out of my phone. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
I think everybody was up that night.
I mean, it was like,
was
it's
up.
3:30 a.m. wake up and get ready for Inoue Donaire. But like from 2:40, all these, I did delete the words that I was like, wake the fuck up. Like, you gotta, and you know, that fight was just one of the best fights I have seen in so long.
Absolutely.
And I remember, when all said and done, your kids were there, and I remember they were crying when Inoue brought the trophy, because you guys promised the trophy, and then that didn't happen. In those kind of situations, how do you prepare your children, because they're so young? Because you know, for a competition, it's like there are no winners and losers, but there are.
Yeah.
Like in that case, what do you tell them?
I think we did that because he promised it to them, right? But I also wanted to show to them that there is there is adversity you're going to have to overcome. You're not always going to win. Fortunately or unfortunately, my eldest seems to have this winning like thread in his body. And anything that I put in front of him, for example, during COVID, during the online of second grade, second month, he was like, this is boring, this and that. And I said, test up. He tested up. And so he's in fourth grade now. And
Wow.
he's still leading in his class.
That's
He gets
awesome.
upset if he gets one wrong on his test. But we are, those situations, I believe, prepare them to understand that even mama and papa don't have a perfect track record, whether it's through mistakes or life experiences that seem to be a mountain to climb over. And whether or not we make it to the other side, it's the adversity that we overcome that grows us as human beings. We want them to be strong in their foundation, to know that if you keep pursuing, it'll come, and you are going to fail. And it's okay to fail. Just learn from those mistakes and move forward.
Wow. Pray. Preach. Wow.
I'm going to move in over there. 'Cause I need some discipline in my life.
Right.
I need to get it all the way together and get me a whiteboard at the Donaire house.
I was just going to say
I
we
need my
need chores
own
here.
Okay, somebody needs to get us together. And so now, on the heels of that amazing fight, I've never seen that many people wake on Twitter. Usually everyone talks about it later. They, read about it or they watch it on delay. But people were up and active. It was trending. It was an exciting fight. And now here we are again. The fight is, it's on the horizon.
Yeah.
Is it still on the horizon? We've had lots of reports in the media of different things that are happening, not with your fight in particular, but events surrounding Probellum. Is this fight in danger? Is the fight going to keep going? Are we still going to get it? Are we getting up early again?
Yes, you're getting up early again.
Oh, okay.
Or just stay up. You're in Vegas.
Yeah.
Just stay up. Just go out, stay up throughout the whole night.
So it is happening in Japan.
Yes.
Is there a date roughly, or
June 7th is the date.
Okay.
So it's a Tuesday.
I
So
know.
maybe not go out on
Everyone
Monday
was
night.
like, why? How did that even happen? Like,
Is that strange?
Yeah.
It is strange, but we also have to consider that in March 1st was the very first time that Japan even opened their borders. So that being said, there was a huge rush for event space. So every single Saturday, Sunday is booked out for months on end.
Got it. Okay. They're already pre-booking it. Okay. Well, we did talk about like this whole Probellum. I mean, there's a lot of things going on into boxing that does surround Probellum and Kinahan. As you a manager, I know you were getting a billion calls about it. Getting the barrages of calls of, is this fight going to happen? Do you deal? What do you say? I mean, your phone was ringing off the hook, and girl, I was one of them. I'm like, please come into the studio. But in this situation, this was a bomb that dropped on everybody. What did you and Nonito think?
Well, Nonito was just like, first of all, when I got the call, I'll tell you, it was a journalist, and he was like, so do you think what's happening with Kinahan right now is, how is that going to affect Nonito's career? I want to get a quote from you. I was like, I'm sorry, who's Kinahan? And he's like, he just got a bounty on his head. I was like, okay, what does that have to do with Nonito's career? I'm completely in the dark about who this guy is.
So you had no idea.
I've never met him.
Well, not met him, but like, because there were so many crazy stories. I'm like, it's like almost like the Illuminati. Like, is this real?
Right.
I mean,
Just
lot of
offshoot
things. It was
stories,
so
people trying to
weird.
marry all of the things together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so. I mean, when I got the call, I was caught off guard because
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out who is this guy, and I only deal with the people who are in front of me, which, whatever the promoter that is, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
as far as who they're friends with or getting drinks with, I have no idea, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
So when that name was brought up, I literally had to, they're like, we'll send you an article, and I looked
Yeah.
at the article, and then of course Nonito's like, what was that about? And I was like, Kinahan. He's like, who? And I was like, exactly. So how am I supposed to have a conversation on this? And then, so I ended up calling the journalist back because he wanted a statement. And I was like, what is your concern? And he was like, that it's going to affect the fight because of Probellum. I was like, why? And he's like, well, so, this person is alleging a connection.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's not play on this alleged stuff, guys. And he's like, I was like, we can allege all day. I was like, we've gone circles and roundabouts about alleging and the consequences and things that happen of alleging and why people are alleging. I was like, so If you're asking me like who is promoting it, it's Tekken Promotions, right?
Yeah,
In
okay.
association with Probellum, and I believe Inoue's other promoter. I don't remember his name off the bat. But it's in Japan. The licensing is from Tekken, which
Okay.
is the Japanese company. So, you know, when it comes to all that, and my statement about it was, I don't know if this guy ever did anything.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make that judgment. It's not my call. But what I will say is I feel saddened that the boxing industry is using this narrative to push their own agenda. And I feel like the people who are pointing fingers at other people saying, you know, you did this, or you shook hands with him, there's a picture, but no, I'm clean now, that kind of stuff. I feel like eventually, if you keep pointing fingers, you're going to look down at your hand and see blood. Mm-hmm. And I feel like everyone should just be quiet and sit down. And because using a narrative just to push your own personal agenda is just a little dirty move, and it seems jealous and childish to me.
Yeah.
Just stay doing what you're doing, abide by the U.S. sanctions, and everyone will be fine.
Yeah.
But making this a bloodbath between everyone where they're throwing it at each other is...
Yeah. It's like, oh, just so-and-so took a picture. Oh my God, that means you're in dealings. And it's crazy that
Press releases and
I was like, what is happening here?
Screenshots and
I was like, oh. But you guys heard it here first.
that's right.
Inoue versus Donaire 2 is happening
Yes.
in Japan on a Tuesday in America.
Yep.
So set your alarm clocks.
Isn't there a song, too, on a Tuesday? Is it a Drake song?
Of that, you would know that. On a
I don't know.
Tuesday.
On a Tuesday?
Shout out to the Sixth God. I don't know. I
don't
have
know.
to.
You know it, girl. You know it. You just you just be shy.
Drake a little soft for my liking. You know.
Oh.
You know,
She likes Genesis. I don't even know this.
I'm from Inglewood.
She likes the hood shit.
Yeah, you know, Q, Dre, you know, I'm from Inglewood. So DJ Quick.
Okay, now real fast, that since you have now stepped in the manager role, in the trainer role, we always say that the fighter is their biggest critic. But I think in this case, you are Nonito's biggest critic because he looks at you, so you're like, you're losing. Mm-hmm. And to hear that as a fighter, that like really, you don't want to hear that. And when did it come to the time Nonito said, you know what, I need you in my corner. You're the only one I'm going to listen to because you're the only one that knows exactly what I need to do.
I think we kind of did it for Frampton, but before all that, every single time he seemed like he was in trouble, he had his whole corner around him, and whether it was Robert or, you know, whoever at the time, he would look at me, and I'm like, your guys are right there.
Yeah.
Like, so when he looks at me, that means something's not being given in that corner. He's looking for something outside.
Okay.
And I feel like it's my job to tell him the truth at that point. The big one, of course, was the Darchinyan rematch, where he had the flu and we're going into the 9-10 and he's losing. I don't know what they're saying in the corner. I don't know if they're saying, oh, you got this, you're winning on the cards, and I don't know. So when he looked at me, I it's a split second that he'll look at me and give me his attention in the corner, and I'm like, you're losing.
Wow. You're honest.
Yeah, I mean, because at that point, like, what was I going to do? Like, good job.
Right. Yeah, you
because
can't.
if I'm validating what he's doing in the ring, he's going to continue doing it. So, that kind of honesty and trust is something that we've always had since the beginning of our relationship. Since the beginning of our relationship, we switch phones. We know each other's password. We know each other's bank accounts and emails. Facebook, MySpace then, but there was never anything.
You're aging yourself, girl.
I know, I keep aging myself. Danity Kane. But so there's always been this trust. So I feel like when that trust is given to you, especially when it comes to something that is, a detriment to what's going on in the ring, you have the responsibility to make sure he gets that message that you're trying to give him.
Did you have to step into that confidence? Because having the trust is one thing, but then to make your voice be the singular one heard in the corner is a different level of confidence, especially when he's had other trainers. Did you step into that? Or did you just know?
I would always say stuff even in the gym, and I would say it underneath a breath, right? Only so he can hear me. because in the gym, like, you'd get side eyes and like, what the hell is she talking about? And we talk almost a different language because he knows that what I'm saying is based on Taekwondo, like the verbiage, like feint in boxing is motion in Taekwondo. So he knows, like, if I in the middle of something, I'm saying motion, and it's just because I can't find it again. Then he knows I mean feint. But everybody else has absolutely no idea what I'm talking about.
They're probably thinking she doesn't know boxing.
Yeah, she's like, what is she talking about? Yeah. So, but he started giving me, wanting me to talk louder. And it took, all the way to Bali, where I really was the head trainer. And let me tell you, that wasn't the easiest thing, because when we were in weigh-ins, we were at medical before weigh-ins, and he assigned me head trainer, and commission came back and said not to do it.
Why?
Because they said I had no experience in a world title fight to be the head trainer. And so we gave it to James Michael Basil, who was our cut man.
Yeah, the cut man, yeah.
Which is fine. We had a team meeting with Nonito about it because I was like, they pulled it from me, or they highly suggested. And he was like, it doesn't matter what they say. He's like, you're the one talking. And he's the one who instructs his corner at the end of the day. Everyone shut up. You tell her, because I don't need a bunch of people. The one thing in the Inoue fight, the first one, there was 2 coaches. Well, there's 4 people, but there was 2 that were very vocal, and it was Kenny Adams and his father. Both spoke different languages. Both were talking at the same time.
So when that happens, I mean, we'll ask Nonito that, but when you know that's going to happen, whose voice do you tell Nonito to listen to?
Well, now that's not happening because I'm the only voice.
No, back then.
Oh, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Oh.
Because I think, like, the thing is, his father's been with him for so long that he's passionate, right? Like, and that's your son. So you're passionate. You want to say something. And because they speak in their native tongue, I think instead of, a translation from English to back to Visayan and him calculating that, being in his native tongue is so much easier, right? Then you have Kenny Adams, who is an amazing trainer, has so much knowledge and experience that, of course, he's going to want to say what he wants to say. And so, like I said, I didn't know that was going to happen. That was something that was talked about in the after action report. And then for whatever purpose, God put the path that it was to have Ubali postponed because of COVID, had us work together a lot as far as coaching and training. And then it just worked. It fell into place with the things that we were concerned about the first Inoue fight and what situations we were given when we were to fight Ubali again.
Because when I rewatched the Inoue fight, and I remember with Donaire, I remember you saying the things that he lacked was the head movements and the feints. And I saw that after seeing it first, but then after you saying it, then I was watching it again. I'm like, oh shit, she's right. I mean, because he likes to go in wars. And he even mentioned, or Nonito mentioned, that he didn't work a lot on defense because he's a very offensive fighter. He likes to get drawn into wars, and sure, it was a real war. But watching that fight, even Nonito sitting here, and maybe you have talked to him, like, how did you grade that? How did you grade him in that fight?
The Inoue fight? I mean, I would give him a B. And that's, it could go either way depending on which exact, like,
round
parts of the fight, right?
Well, he did almost blind Inoue at the second and third round. He took the 10th round. And then, but it was a nasty body shot that put him down. But he gave him the toughest test of Inoue's career.
Yeah. I think that was like the hardest thing for me, is because I know his capability. You see how much he moved before, and then he got up in weight, so he had to really sit down on his punches. Sitting down on his punches, he's not moving as much. There's a point where he's like, oh, I can take their punch. This macho mentality, when that wasn't the game to begin with.
I love it how she breaks it down. She's like, that's just not it.
It's a sweet science, remember? Move your damn head. So I think, so knowing who he is and how he can perform, for me, I knew he could beat Inoue. But it was just so out of my control because I don't know what the game plan was. And if you ask him, he'll tell you some of the things that happened in that corner.
Okay.
And
Oh, we will.
Absolutely.
I feel like it was just, the things that he had as such a foundational strength was missing. And so during COVID, we brought it back. We worked on it. We had nothing else to do except stare at each other at the house. So we worked on the weaknesses. That's what you're supposed to do. And we
Right.
didn't ignore the things that he didn't do.
Are there things to his style that once you were in that head trainer role, you were like, I'm going to fix this now. It's been bothering me for all this time. I want to correct whatever this thing is.
Yes. There's a lot. Yeah.
She's like, I got notes. But even stepping into that role, I know it wasn't easy. When he approached you about it, you have to obviously sit down with him and say, you have to listen to my voice. If you don't listen to my voice, this is never going to work out. How did that whole conversation go down?
We sat down at a table and I told him, like, okay, so we're husband and wife, we're parents, there's different roles we both play. But when it comes to the gym and you're asking me to do these things for you, it's not going to work unless you respect my voice, respect my opinion. And the best part is that we collaborate a lot, sometimes at 2:00 in the morning. When I'm done with my work and stuff like that, and I put my head down, I'm like still watching fights. I'm like, oh, he does this. And he's like, well, we could do this. And he'll get up out of bed in his underwear and he'll have me get out of bed. And then he'll be like, okay, so throw a jab. And then and I'll throw a jab. He'll be like, throw a hook. And we'll walk through these different scenarios. But at 2:00 in the morning,
Your job is never done, girl.
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact is it's a collaboration. Each trainer and fighter, there's certain things that a fighter can do that a trainer doesn't see. There's also things that a trainer wants a fighter to do that the fighter's not capable of. Mm-hmm. And you have to, bob and weave with the whole thing and learn to give and take with a conversation that if the fighter isn't comfortable with what you're asking them to do, that has to be communicated.
Yeah.
I think a lot of boxers are afraid to say, hey, coach, does not feel natural. It doesn't work for me. I feel vulnerable and stuff like that. And they're going to have to adapt and change to where he does feel comfortable. But I don't feel a lot of boxers speak up that way because they feel like they're being disrespectful or
Ego.
It's ego. They have to do what the trainer says.
Yeah.
You are a fascinating woman.
Yeah, you really are.
I knew a lot of things about you, or things that I've read about you. I've never had the honor of meeting you before personally, but you really, really are towing the line for a lot of different things. It's really, really impressive.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And it's really a true a testament to who you are, because there's so many women out there that could be just as good as you, maybe even better, but little girls that are, I can be a boxing trainer. Just looking at you, it's like, oh my God, I can do that.
Or just even hearing you, because people have their ideas of what they think that you are like, and now hopefully they'll give some insight or the bravery or just, the drive to, Rachel's doing it, maybe I can do it too.
Yeah, I think that after I got the WBC trainer belt,
2021, the only female WBC trainer. She's the only female that has that belt. Okay, go ahead.
No, my friend's daughter, she's 6. So she's 6. Had actually asked her mom. She's like, oh, so whose belt is that? Because it looks different from Uncle Nonito's. He goes, that's your Auntie Rachel's belt. That's her belt that she deserves and got awarded. And this little girl was so proud of me.
Aww.
And I knew, it just cements that, for some reason, I am who I am, and I'm in these situations because I'm supposed to be. And if part of it is taking that heat, from all angles because the boys club's getting really upset, then I'm the one that's going to do it because I don't care about the boys club. It should be inclusive, and we can not only, broaden their horizons, but actually improve this not just the sport of boxing, but worldwide, if everyone just respects and realizes the gifts that women have.
So do you feel like at this point you're walking in your purpose? People like to talk about, have you at this current time, or is the purpose still steps away? Is it now or is it coming?
I think it is now. I think there's still, of course, more to be done, but right now, and the amount of respect that I'm given by the people who actually see the work I'm doing, take away the face, take away the voice, and just read what I've done.
Yeah.
As far as like if you just were to transcript, and without a gender, would you take that advice? And my bet is you would. It's
Yeah.
only because
You're a female.
I'm a female and I'm the loudest one in the group, and I don't care who's going to get upset because I'm telling the truth and I have my evidence to back it.
Amen to that.
That's a drop the mic on that.
And that's why we had Rachel Donaire sit at the brown table talk with us.
the real brown
The
table.
real brown table.
Literally the brown table talk.
But no, I'm so happy that you're able to come, because this is a platform that, even though it's called the Best Women's Boxing Show, period, we do like to highlight women in boxing, not just women in boxing, but also women that like to watch boxing or other sports. And you're like really involved in it, like literally involved. But Rachel, I know you've always wanted to do something like this, because there's really no podcast or nowhere to talk with other women about sports,
Right.
unfortunately. But we're here.
Yeah.
You are
Anytime.
welcome
Open door.
anytime.
Open door. If you just
Yeah.
want to say some stuff, come on by.
I know, even especially right before the fight.
Yeah, stop by before
Yeah,
y'all take
stop
off.
by. It'll be fun.
Yes.
With all this said and done, is there any advice that you would like to tell those people out there that are second guessing themselves, saying, "Oh, I don't know if I could do this because I don't know if I'll be included in the boys' club."
Right.
I think my advice to them is remember your purpose. There's nothing that can stray you away from your purpose. So if there's people that's trying to move you in some sort of way or block you, just remember your goal and why you're here. I think that purpose serves as a very deep rooting system that no matter how much the wind blows, the tree will stay rooted. So remember your purpose and just keep going.
Oh, that was
I
beautiful.
like that.
My
I really
I
like
made
that.
that up just now.
Come on, man.
I swear. I just did.
That was
sounded
good, girl.
right?
I'm gonna put that on like a plaque. No matter, say that again.
I don't
no matter
remember.
no matter how the wind blows, the tree will always remain rooted.
Yeah.
Come on now, I'm putting that in a card.
Can we put that like that? That's a beautiful
I need
saying.
I need to say that every day. That was really
That's a good mantra.
Thank you. I just made it up.
See?
Okay.
Now she got the isms too. The Rachelisms.
Rachelisms.
It's 3.
Yes. Okay. 3 drinks.
That's 3 drinks. All right. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for coming on. Now we're going to have your husband in the hot seat. But you are more than welcome to sit and join us to counteract any of the things that he says.
Like
That'll
this,
be fun.
like this first date.
The first date.
Oh,
Yeah,
God, here we go.
I can't wait to hear his story.
All right.
She be grinding her booty on other boys. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
The Danity game.
The Danity game.
Stopping
I do have a question. Did Mario Serrano have hair at the time?
No, he's never had hair.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's looked the exact
He's
same
really?
since birth.
Yeah.
I
I've
never
never
knew
seen him
that.
with hair. Ever.
Ever.
I haven't either. That is amazing. Boxing is a family for real.
Oh, that's funny.
All right.
Oh, Rachel, well, I appreciate you coming in. And like I said, the table, we are always here. If you ever want to come and hang out and chat some boxing, spill some more tea, tell us how Nonito is doing, and anything if you want to talk.
Tell us how to get our lives together.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Do you ever think that you would go compete, like really seriously go back into... it's not an octagon. I don't even know what you call Taekwondo. What is it? A mat?
Yeah, it is a mat.
Would you ever go and compete again?
I thought about it, and I also thought about going into MMA before. But honestly, we've kind of been there, done that. We both cut weight at the same time, and it was horrendous. He said if we both lose 5 pounds, then we'll go eat dinner. And of course, I lost 1.2, and he lost 5. And then I was crying on the floor asking for cheesecake chimichanga from Applebee's. So having 2 fighters in the household is a little bit too
hard.
much. Yeah, and I know by the time the boys are out and about of the house, that'd be too much for me at that point already. So I'm good in my role. I'm satisfied in my role where I am, and I believe that my focus is supposed to be here.
Oh.
Amen.
Do you guys compete? Like, does he know Taekwondo or MMA moves?
The boys?
No, your husband.
Oh yeah, The one thing that's really irritating is like the 10 things I hate about you kind of thing. knows how to do everything. Like, and what I mean by that is we did, when I was pregnant with Jarrell, Jarrell just came out and I said, I really want a painting of a Buddha. And he was like, what? And I looked on Google and I showed him, I was like, I want one of these, like in the house, right? Just peaceful and serene. And he's like, I'll just paint it. I was like, you don't know how to paint. And so I'm sleeping in the living room. Jarrell's in the swinger and he's in the art room and I'm watching him through the door painting. And so I wake up at 3, he's still painting. Wake up at 4, he's still painting. And when I wake up at 6, there's this complete painting done. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Does it look like a Buddha?
Yes. And it was irritating. So no more wine date nights where you paint in wine. That's out of the damn question because he brings his own
He's like,
brushes.
well, he's going to do Mona Lisa and all
No,
that
he
now.
brings his own brushes.
No.
Yes, he does.
Okay, rice in the bag. Don't give him too much grief about it. Okay, wait. So I have to, one more. I know we're trying to wrap it up. So, okay, do you guys go karaoke? And is he that guy that's trying to go all Super American Idol, at the
He's
karaoke
Filipino,
spot?
of course.
Yeah, he knows the karaoke numbers. He doesn't even need the book.
Do you have the microphone with you push the numbers?
We have a microphone.
Damn.
Oh, your house is lit. No wonder y'all competing all the time.
Well, we got to do karaoke night with
We
them.
coming over. We cooking. We doing karaoke. We gonna
that
paint.
sounds
We're gonna do it all.
Oh my God. Well, this was a fun episode.
Yes,
I
it
did not
was.
know what
I'm
to
so
expect.
happy you came.
I know, me too.
Thanks for the invite.
Thank you, Rachel. For you guys, what an incredible story. I mean, not only is she's an amazing woman, a mother,
An
a
educator.
trainer, an educator, a poet. I mean, but she's also one of the baddest women that we've met in boxing.
Absolutely, bar none.
I know, bar none. All right, well, we're going to wrap this up because we're going to be bringing on your husband in the next episode. Rachel Donaire, thank you again.
Follow
Thanks,
her.
guys.
I know, what's your, it already says all that stuff. Your social is right there.
Perfect.
And then
Follow
if you want to interact with her and see all the tea that she spills, go to her Twitter. I think it's at Knockout Queen, correct?
At Knockout Score Queen.
Knockout,
and
okay.
then Instagram is just Rachel Donaire, and so is Facebook.
Okay.
And talk to her with some sense.
I
with some
know,
respect.
and she knows her shit, okay, boys and girls? She knows her stuff.
Exactly.
All right, well, we're going to wrap up this episode. Jeandra, that was a fun one. Once
okay.
again, my twinnie.
We're
Look at this.
twinning, we're matching, and we had a great guest again.
I know. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe on our YouTube channel. I will be putting all of our socials somewhere around here. And man, the other episodes that we've done, they are on fire right now. Fire, fire, fire. So make sure you guys check that out. Again, I am Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra LeBeauf.
Thank you for joining the Best Women's Boxing Show, period. See you guys at Fight.